All right, so Ryan and Dawn, I think we got to the end of that 1 hour. But if you guys see me now, I want you to try to jump in because I want to make sure that we finish this conversation for anybody that is going to join in. So I want to finish this conversation about how you guys made it all work, and then give people the opportunity to find you wherever you are. So if you can join again, that would be awesome. I would love for you guys to just jump back onto this live with me. But that was a great conversation with Ryan and Dawn Russell about how to blend a family, how to make a marriage work, how you doing? Yeah, request to join again so that I can make sure that I add you guys again. If you want to do that real quick, please, so that we can finish up the conversation. All right, I'm bringing you guys back in now. All right. So IG Live gives us about an hour to kind of do this thing, but I'm glad that we are back. But because Ryan, you were in the middle of saying some things, so just a couple more things, and we can finish up. So it's wonderful to hear how you guys have brought your lives together, right, and then how you are making the kids and the family feel comfortable. Ryan, I like the fact that you said, listen, I have to let her do it in her time. I'm not going to force her to do something. I like the fact that you are towing the line, Dawn. You're saying, okay, now Ryan is my husband. You're going to respect him, and this is kind of how the rules work in our house, in my house, and they'll continue to work that way. So talk about working together in business. And I heard you say something earlier, Dawn, that I really want you guys to speak about. You said Ryan owns the business, but I run it, right? How do you guys how do you guys make working in a business together work? Talk about that.
We don't. We don't work. You know how we make it work? I do the business and Ryan brings the food and say, here's dinner so you can keep working.
Okay.
He does say, don't get me wrong, he will say, babe, I'm here if you need me to help. I always tell you, let me help. Teach me how to do it and I'll do it. And I do say I want to teach him because if I die tomorrow, he has no clue what to do. He does.
I think that's where it comes in the balancing out, because I don't think my wife has like a pause button. She'll keep going. So I have to step in and be like, hey, it's been 14 hours. You have to eat or take a break. And she'll just keep going and going and going and going. And then when she finally finishes, I'm coming in, she's watching Dateline. I'm like, what happened? Oh, I'm so tired. I didn't eat and everything. I'm like, babe, you have to pace yourself. Like, you have to set an agenda during the week. You want these things done with this amount of time. So even if you finish ahead of time, you can squeeze in whatever was day 2 over to day 1, and you kind of play. Like, I know how to strategically do things in a certain format in a certain time frame. She wants to do everything in one day at one time, and if it's 24 hours, she wants to squeeze a week's worth of work in one day. I'm like, I don't care how fast or intelligent you are, you have to pace yourself. So that's where I have to balance that aspect of it, because I don't think the business side is a problem for me to work with her. I think it's more so she has her way of seeing things or doing things, and if it's not done that way, then she's like, no, I'll take care of it. And I'm like, no, I can do it. No, I need it done now. And I'm like, hey, okay, you know what? Let me let you have it. And once I let her do it on her own, then it's kind of like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe you were right. I see how you seeing it now, because most of the times I'm like, okay, if you want to do it, I'll let you do it. But now, once your way didn't work, now I'm like, okay, let's try my way. And then it's not really a contest. It's more so I'm going to let you figure it out on your own. And then if you say I need some help, then I'm there to help you. But either way, I'm there from beginning to end, no matter what. So once she feels like she has support from me, either way, we can make it work. I think it's more so we're still new in the relationship. So this is her business. This is like her baby. So however she wants to do it, I support her. Now, my time comes along, I believe in reciprocity. So if I want to do things my ways, a certain type of style, I feel that I'll have her same support in return.
Mm-hmm.
So I know people like Dawn and myself, our brains never cut off.
Mm-mm.
It's always going
Mm-hmm.
150 miles per hour. And it's good to hear that you are providing that balance for Dawn. But I'm going to ask you guys one other question, and then we'll go into you guys telling us how everybody can find you. Okay? And this is the opportunity for you guys to practice that transparency
Okay.
that you talked about earlier. And I'll let Dawn go first. Dawn, what is the one thing that about Ryan that frustrated you the most, that you've had to make some adjustments on your own to deal with? That one thing that was like uber frustrating for you.
Let Ryan go first.
What? Wait a minute. You've been saying everything else.
No.
I don't really. No, seriously.
Come on. Expose yourself.
I really
hot
want to
seat.
think.
We ask
I have
piercing
no,
questions.
I have
We ask
my
piercing
go
questions
list.
on this program. Piercing,
No,
real
I have
questions.
my-
What
I have
is
one
the
of my
one
go
thing?
lists sitting here. I have
No.
one of my goalies sitting. My best friend is sitting right here, and I'm having to think. What is? I don't think. I have to think about one thing that frustrates me about my husband. I've ever think. No, seriously.
No, you okay? No, you can
I'm
tell.
asking
There are
one
some,
of my best friends that's sitting right here. I don't.
but your best friend don't live with you all. Your best
Well,
friend is not in
tell
the
me
house with y'all.
everything. I'm trying to. One thing that frustrates me about him. That's I don't.
That
I'm trying to save time here. I'm trying to save.
no, you're good. No, we got time. It's one thing that that frustrates you about him, that you have had to learn to make adjustments to make sure it doesn't just make you pull your hair out.
I'm not lying. You know me. You know me.
You will speak your mind. You will speak your mind. Okay,
Thank you.
let's Ryan.
Thank you.
You will
me.
speak your mind. Okay, so let's let Ryan go. Ryan, you go ahead. You go.
I'm never
You go.
lost for words. You
Go.
know me. Okay.
Go for it, Ryan. The one thing about Dawn that really frustrated you, but you have found a way to kind of balance it out and make things happen. I mean, really frustrating. And don't be giving me no pansy surface stuff. We want to know some real deal stuff.
Yesterday, the Brashant thing, maybe.
The only thing I can think of is when we talk, and sometimes if she's passionate about something, it doesn't frustrate me. It's just kind of like if she's stuck on making a point, and I'm telling her, I already understand the point. I'm beyond the point. I'm just letting you know this is my side of it too. And she wants to deliver the message and wants me to be receptive to it. And I'm like, maybe how I react to being receptive, I'm kind of like, okay, I got it, but now let me tell you about my side. And I think the one thing we've come along with is where we might feel like maybe we agree to disagree, is have like a phrase word. Like, I think our word is like popcorn. So if we feel like it might be going too far, be like popcorn. And it's like kind of shut down. Or just not really frustrating, like when she gets going and going and going, and I'm like, hey, let's take the time to look at, smell the flowers or whatever the case may be. She'll be so caught up and focused on what she's doing. It's like, not that she doesn't hear me, but she's just like going 100 miles an hour. And I'm like, stop in the middle of the rain, hard on your brakes. And she's like, no, I got to keep going. I got to keep moving. And I think it's more so of me being the man in the household, and she's been single for so long. The adjustment is more so of her being able to depend on me versus being so caught up in I'm strong, I'm independent, I can do this. And I'm like, I know you can do this, but I'm here. Let me help you. And she's like, no, I'll take care of it. I'm like, no, I'm here. Like, I can handle the job. And I think that's more so not frustrating, but I think that's just going to take time because she's been so used to carrying the load. She doesn't know how to share the load with me. So it's not frustrating. I just wish she would just lighten the load off herself and let me take on more responsibilities, because then I feel like I can carry a way lot more than you think. But I don't want you, and I think on her end, she's like, no, I don't want to burden you with my worries. I'm like, that's why we got married. That's what I'm here for. I'm not just the support. I'm here for good times, bad times, and everything. So I think that just takes time because she's just conditioned herself to just say, I'm strong and independent. I'm like, I'm not questioning that. That's why I married you. But now we can work together, Team Russ, and just, we can elevate to a whole nother level much faster.
I love it. I love it. What about you, Don? Have you thought about something yet? Come on.
I don't want Instagram to think my husband is perfect or anything.
But you haven't thought about anything?
I mean, there's God, and then there's Jesus, and then there's Uncle Daniel. And,
Well, all right. No, I ain't in that. I ain't. Go.
I mean, some men just do their work, Uncle Daniel. You know what I'm saying? Some men just do. They do their work. He ain't perfect. Okay, look, Instagram, he ain't perfect. But I will say, make me pull my hair out. It may make me want to yank it a little bit. I will say, one thing that I wish he could do better collaboratively, when we talk about co-parenting, him and his ex-wife, as with Uncle Daniel, had to go through their communication. I'm gonna need them to. I'm working that blended family thing. I want them to get that together, right? So
Yeah.
that's still a work in progress, right? Okay, that's one thing. But that's a team effort, right? That's not
Right.
just him. That's a team effort. That, and my husband, growing up, his father was a provider. My husband he's a provider. I'm a very goal-oriented person. My husband he's still trying to figure out his life purpose. Okay? So we had, a few months ago, my husband, he kind of was trying to figure out where he wanted to be in life. He kind of felt like, is my life purpose kind of sort of,
I guess just trying to figure out a redirection or like the fork in the road, so to speak. Like, I've been here, done this, but I feel like it's more to what I've been doing. Like, I've done it, and now I'm like, with her in my life now, I foresee something I never saw before, but I can't really pinpoint exactly what it is because I can do everything, but what do I have a passion for?
Where?
Have you been able to figure that out,
you know
Ron?
how they say Stedman is Mr. Oprah?
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't want to be Mr. Dawn, right? And so that was hurtful for me, right? And so I want my husband to find what his life purpose is. And so if I had to pull my hair out, it's because I want my husband to find that for him, right? So if I honestly, me pulling my hair out is because I want my husband to figure out what his life purpose is for him and find and go on that journey for him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Can I offer a bit of counsel though in that area?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just a bit. Okay. So someone said something, and this show is about you guys. It's not about me, but I think this is just a moment for the entire world to kind of hear something that may help them. I heard somebody years ago say, all of us are called to either an individual person or a group of people. We all are. We're called to an individual person or a group of people. Stedman has a purpose, right? And that purpose may be to provide stability in the life of an Oprah. Just use that as an example, right? Now, that stability does not mean helping her to build right? The Oprah Enterprise. That stability may mean every time she walks through that door, it's constant, it's consistent, it's peaceful, it is non-chaotic, it is the same. It is her place of rest. When she comes home, she knows maybe the food is cooked, this is clean, this is done. She can walk into a place of rest and not have to worry about serving people, where when she's in the spotlight or when she's doing her thing on TV or what have you, she's doing a lot of that. That could be something that, Ryan, that you may want to consider, right? Is your place in the world, your purpose in the world, to provide that same kind of peace that I heard Dawn rave about earlier in the interview? Is that part of the place, that the purpose in your particular life? Because the way purpose works is the pain we feel when somebody else is hurting is an indication of what we've been called to do. Mm-hmm. I'm in the staffing business for a reason, right? The reason why I'm in the staffing business is because I didn't like the way I felt when I was growing up and we didn't have money. So if I can help a person get a job so that they can provide for their family, so they don't have to feel like I did when I was in my early teens, mm-hmm. that's part of my purpose in life. That pain is the thing I'm trying to stop in somebody else's life. So in your case, you may be trying to provide a peace and stability for Dawn that she may have never ever had in her life anywhere else. And that is purpose as well. So you, like Stedman, may be called to that. So it's just something to think about. You know, what are your thoughts regarding that particular response?
I mean, I have felt that way, and even early on as a child, to where even in the household that I grew up in, it was just more so of my parents could always rely on me to take care of the job, do what was needed, not cook, clean, but clean, take care of the chores, go to school without having to hustle behind me because I was always responsible. Mm-hmm. But then I see everyone else doing their own goal, their own, not really spotlight, because I don't really like being in the spotlight. Mm-hmm. It's just more not recognition, but just the satisfaction that I help people. So like even in my line of work, I help individuals, I help people, mm-hmm. but then it gets to that point of time of, could I help even more people than the platform I'm on right now, to where I'm very happy and satisfied with providing for my wife's stability. Mm-hmm. I just want to I don't want to feel like I am content with what I'm doing. I want to make sure that if I could do more, I want to do more before I leave this earth. So that's the one thing where I'm constantly reevaluating myself over and over again, just to make sure that, okay, could I do more? Did I do more? Am I a role model to my kids? Am I the best provider? Like, I think I'm my biggest critic, so I'm constantly just over processing things to where I might be over processing something, then the answer is right in front of me, and I'm just constantly like, no, it has to be more. It has to be something else. And I think what you said does bring light to the situation, to where what I'm doing right now. But I guess I see how much of an entrepreneur and how much she does consistently, and I'm like, should I have that same passion and almost be relentless to where rain, sleet, or slow, I'm just constantly moving and going and doing whatever, in which that's not my natural mannerism and characteristic. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just still, I'm at the crossroad where I'm older now, I'm 44 years old, and before I leave this earth, before I have grandkids, like my dad told me, he's like, you're at the peak of your life. You're 44. This is where you're at your prime of your life. You should be just out there doing whatever. And I'm just kind of like, well, dang, am I at the top of my career? Like, could I do more? Could I make more money? Am I able to give my wife the lifestyle and everything I feel that she deserves, even though she's happy and content with what I provide her? I always feel like enough is never enough. So I guess that's where it's an ongoing thing. And, I just have to sit back and pray on it and just, keep me up in your prayers, and I'll definitely get this through.
Well, Ryan, I think this is a moment for me to really speak to this. And again, I don't want to take over the interview, but I really want you to if you could just listen for just a moment. And Dawn, I know that you'll identify this. Entrepreneur is not a job title. It's actually a way, a life. It's really, a lot of people think that that's what an entrepreneur is. It's just no, it's not. It's very different. Being an entrepreneur it can be a crazy, chaotic life because it's driven by vision in many instances. It's driven by creation in many instances. And in my life, if I didn't have Ashley, I would probably be all over the place too. So Ashley is in my life what you are in Dawn's life. Ashley's way of living, and she has entrepreneurial tendencies, but she's a teacher and has been in the education system, and she loves that. That's her calling. That's what she wants to do as her life's purpose. Right now, for sure, that's what she wants to do. But she is my peace, because when I'm not at home with Ashley, I'm serving thousands of people in the world, if you will, right? Whether it's on social media, whether it's on a job, whether it's serving clients. An entrepreneur needs that. I need Ashley to be my stability. I'm telling you, I need it. I really do. Because I would run from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, right? And I would keep going and keep going and keep going. But what happens is Ashley sometimes stops me, slows me down. She'll say no social media, no phones, no. And that's important. That's her purpose. One of her purposes in my life. Mm-hmm. I could not, now listen to this. This is important. I could not be who I am today without that. And Dawn couldn't be who she is today without that. So that's part of your purpose. And I'm not trying to gas you up. I'm just saying, I can see you two, your relationship, the correlation between you two is a lot like what Ashley and I are in our relationship. And the respect that both of us have for our purpose and our calling it's like you guys, right?
Yeah.
So maybe your job is to provide enough road, enough leeway, enough stability in her life so that she can do whatever it is she needs to do in terms of her purpose and her calling, because without it, it would be very, very challenging. I know that for a truth. What do you think about that, Dawn?
I completely agree. That's why I started this show off by saying I absolutely won't work with him. I won't. It's not that we don't work together. I won't work professionally with him. It won't. Our marriage would fail. I need. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here now. Go back. You said you said I need.
I need him to do what he does for me in our marriage so that I can do what I do for us professionally. It would not work any other way. I wouldn't make for us monetarily outside of what he does for us in our marriage. You're absolutely correct. We have to have that balance. It's that 50-50 that makes it work. Ryan is my peace and my solace. Everybody in our life tells us that. Everybody that knows the new Ryan says he is who he is because of me. Everybody that knows the new Dawn in our marriage, like you, says, this Dawn is who she is because of Ryan. It only works because of who he is. When my husband told me, I don't know who I am or who I'm supposed to be, I'm like, you are exactly who you're supposed to be. But I have to step back as his wife because I don't want him to think I'm trying to block him, right? So I have to figure out my role as his wife because I don't want him to think I'm trying to take all the shine. But as his wife, I know he's exactly where God wants him to be, right? So I had to just kind of, as his wife, just, step back and not say anything. But I know that this is where God wants him to be. My husband wants to work in the ministry. His life goal, it's going to sound crazy, is just to be a deacon. That's perfect. If that's your highest goal is to be a deacon, I'm saying that he just wants to work in the church. All he wants to do is get a degree in theology. Wonderful. Get an associate's in theology and work in the church. But he feels inferior. He's afraid to tell people that, because in the world we live in today, that's nothing, right? Like, you're nothing if you don't have a master's or a PhD, or you don't run businesses. I got a master's. Matter of fact, I'm about to have 2 masters. I own businesses. I got us covered, boo. Right? Don't worry about what people out there are going to say. I got us covered, right? If you want to get an associate's in theological studies, I got us, right? So he's afraid of what people are going to say. All my husband want to do is serve the Lord. That's enough for me. That's it.
You know,
He's worked for FEMA for 14 years. He's worked for the federal government for 25 years. He pays the bills and he covers our benefits. That's all I need you to do. That's it. That's your part. And you feed your family, and you go to recitals, and you pick up kids and carpool, and you take kids fishing. He was out at 7 o'clock this morning in the heat fishing with our son. That's his road.
yeah, you know,
For us.
in relationships, it's the relationships that work well. It's a partnership. It's not a competition. And I know, Brian, sometimes it could be challenging. And let me say this to you, Ryan. I want you to hear me when I say this as well. Sometimes the stability in Ashley's life, I envy.
Mm-hmm.
I do, right? Because here I am, 55 years old. What if I had been at a company for 35 years? How much further along could I have been? Maybe not any further along, right? Now, I've made lots of money in my life. I've lost lots of money, made lots of money in my life, but the entrepreneurial life is what I've been called to do. I realized that going to work in corporate America is not the thing for me for 40 years. It's not my thing. But for some people, they would go crazy if they had to live the kind of life that I live. So I think resting in who you are, not concerning yourself with what other people think about it, is important. My stability in our relationship is craziness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Her stability in our relationship is stability. So her job, or what she does, and she tells me all the time, is, I got your back. I'll back you up. If we fall short here, I'll back you up. If you need a listening ear, I'll back you up. That's important. And so, but Dawn and I, as entrepreneurs, it's a very crazy life. And I'm telling you, she is the person she is because of you. She needs you in her life so that she can excel as an entrepreneur. I need Ashley in my life so that I can excel as an entrepreneur. Likewise, you need her in your life so that you can be excel as the stability, the support, the provider that you were born to be, right? Because without the stability, she can't be crazy. She has to rely more on, right? Yeah. And without the craziness, right, you couldn't be a provider. You need somebody that's running all over the place, and she needs somebody that's sitting down. That's just pretty much how it works. So I appreciate you guys being transparent. I'm going to give each one of you, a minute each, just kind of talking to the screen and talk to couples who are thinking about, maybe they may be thinking about breaking up. They may be thinking about going to the next level. They may be thinking about all of the chaos in their marriage. Talking to the screen and talk to them about, just share some encouraging words for them at this particular time. You go first, Dawn.
Yeah, so I would tell you that if you're kind of figure out where you are in your relationship, therapy. I am a true believer in therapy. I have consistently been in therapy for the last 20 years, not constantly, but consistently. I am a true believer. I'm finishing my second marriage to be a licensed marriage and family therapist. I believe in it all day long. Allow someone else outside of your circle to speak into your relationship. I believe in Christian and traditional therapy. I believe in having one of both. The Christian therapist is going to kind of give you biblically sound principles on saving your relationship. Traditional is going to give you other, techniques, tools, and tips on how to save your relationship. Try both. Your EAP will pay for you to go to therapy. It's free. You get 8 to 10 therapy sessions a year for free. try them. Let someone else outside of your mama and your homegirl speak into your relationship.
Right.
Yeah, and YouTube and social media, speaking to your relationship. Speak to a therapist. My husband and I, we're working with a couple right now. I do personal coaching with couples and friends now. I do it through creative consulting. I do that. But I tell you to speak to someone that you do not know about how to save yourself and your relationship. If you care about it. And not just your relationship, your friendships. Relationships are complicated all the time, right? So go to therapy. Go to therapy. If you don't know which way to go to therapy. Start with therapy. Always start with therapy. That's what I have to say about it. If you have any questions about it. That's what I have to say about that.
Now, you go, Ryan, look right into the screen and just speak from your heart to couples who are trying to make it. Maybe there's some challenges. Maybe they have the same kind of dynamic that your relationship, my relationship have. So talk about that right now. Just kind of speak to them, how they can be helped.
I would say more so is initially
from the God.
Well, of course, go to God first as far as like make that the foundation of your marriage to where no matter what you go through and what you've been through, you cannot, the two of you cannot do it on your own. Mm-hmm. God has to be in your life because you'll hit a wall and you'll constantly keep trying to do it on your own will. You'll try to please other people, and at the end of the day, you'll fall so short of what He can do. Not only take you over that hump, He'll take you to a level, and you'll look around and realize, I don't even know how I got here. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, people get caught up in either title, images, or just holding up an appearance to where I know people that'll post pictures on Facebook looking happy, looking joyful, and then in reality, they're the most miserable people in their lives.
Exactly.
Like, how can you keep up? You put more energy into the image than you do into actual marriage, and y'all can't stand each other. Uh-huh. And it's like, especially with this COVID, I can tell you right now, I am really in love with my wife because us seeing each other every day,
all day, every day,
all the time. If this is not a test that we truly love each other, I don't know what is, because if I hadn't gotten tired of her, or just every morning I look at her just the same, just as beautiful as prior to our marriage, I know I truly love her. And just admit that if you don't have those same feelings for the other person, don't keep up an image that
life is too short.
Yeah, don't keep up an image, or don't try to please that person to make them happy when you're not happy on the inside. It's better for you to just cut your losses early, because no breakup is ever pretty, but it's better for you to be honest and move on than stay in a toxic relationship, because at the end of the day, that toxicity builds up, and then the children see it.
Yes.
You and your partner become worse, and then not only does it transpire into the kids, they mirror what they see. So now their relationships become generational curses. And I think it's just honestly put God first, and then whatever direction you decide to go, He'll guide you to where you need to be in your life.
Good job.
I love it. All right, so two more things, and that's it. Number one, I need to see my baby real soon. I ain't nobody playing games with you.
She's
I need my
house.
Okay, well, I'm gonna call her because I need to see my baby, period. All right. The second thing is, now Dawn, tell us about where everybody can find you on social media, your businesses and everything else. Tell them where they can find you.
Okay, you ain't gonna find him because he don't do social media. He take these hiatus and shut off everything because the Lord told him to. He take fast every 30 days, so you ain't gonna find him. Okay, so where you can find me, and probably you can find us on Dallas Confidential TV. We have a YouTube TV show. We're on season 2 coming in about a few weeks, but you can find all of season 1 of Dallas Confidential TV. We're on IG, Dallas Confidential TV, Facebook, Dallas Confidential TV, YouTube. Please subscribe. Dallas Confidential TV, just as it sounds. And we talk about everything. I want to say everything Dallas, but it's just everything. It's just called Dallas Confidential TV. And it's not like we ain't talking about the Kardashians, because I'm too old to be talking about the Kardashians, okay? So just that. You can find me at fitting.statements. It's my clothing line. creative gear to rep your career, fitting dot statements on IG, and what is the other one? Facebook. I'm sorry. And then Glow Girl Global on, I don't remember, Facebook. Glow Girl Global.
I think I have the links on Facebook, don't you?
Yeah, that's it.
But fitting dot statements.
Fitting dot statements, yeah. And then
All right.
Creative Consultant is on Facebook.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hashtag rescue me. See, it's so much. Podcast. Hashtag rescue me. But I don't think the hashtag is on IG. It's just Rescue Me Podcast on IG. Rescue Me Podcast. It's my podcast where we have open conversations on relationship pitfalls. If you would like to be a guest, where we talk about everything relationships. So our last, my husband and I did one on surviving remarriages.
Yeah.
So that was our second episode on surviving remarriages. And I would love to have you, Uncle Daniel, on an episode on surviving second marriages.
Yeah, well, if you just let me know and I'll make myself available for sure. And you can find the podcast everywhere, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and what's Google Play Music. Yes.
Good. So yeah.
Rescue Me Podcast. Yes.
Good. So I appreciate the invite, and I will definitely be part of that. I'm going to be inviting you guys back to Positive TV as well, and then I'm going to be creating a speaking engagement where we do 4 to 5 hours of IG Live of nothing but couples, and we're going to talk about those things: blended families, marriages, all breakups, trouble, all that good stuff. So we'll do that. I really appreciate you guys joining. Our goal at Positive TV is to actually suffocate the world with as much positivity as possible. And all around us, there are things that are working, right? People in relationships that are working, people that are in business that are working, people who seem to be opposite, like you guys and like Ashley and I. They work, and we're making them work because we're compromising, we're working, we're making things happen. And amongst this world that's COVID and chaotic, we are making things happen in this world. So I appreciate you guys joining in. Thank you so much. Fitting dot statements, right? Please go check them out on Fitting dot statements, and then talk with the podcast one more time.
Hashtag Rescue Me Podcast.
Rescue Me Podcast. I'm going to go follow you guys or join you. And then on YouTube, last thing, Dallas Confidential on YouTube, right? Dallas Confidential TV.
Yes, and you know what? Maybe, Uncle Daniel, you could do a show on literally title is Starting New Traditions. Because, literally, that's what we got out of marriage counseling. I think you could literally do a whole show and just have people on about how they started a new tradition. That was the biggest thing for us, like I said, because I think, historically, people just get locked in their ways on how we're going to do it. And I think you would actually start a new tradition by you having a child late in life. People get hell-bent on, I ain't going to start that again, And you having a younger wife, you had to compromise on that.
I did.
Right? You had to.
And we'll talk about those things because Ashley did ask me. She did ask me, hey, are you interested in having kids? Because all 3 of my kids were grown. And I said, if it weren't you, I wouldn't. But yes, with you, I would. And I think, very shortly after that, she became pregnant. So I'm happy about that. And we are happy to have Danny. Thank you guys so much for joining. I am going to have you guys back. So please be looking in your email for a new invite time. I love you guys. I'm calling my baby as soon as we get off this phone right now. Thank you, Dawn and Ryan. I appreciate you guys so much and all the insights that you shared. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody in all the world, please go follow them. Go follow them. Connect with them. Ask them questions. Please, please. Everybody that's in my social community, close to 200,000 people, please go connect with them because they are somebody that can add some value into your life. Thanks for watching Positive TV. We'll talk to you guys next time. Take it easy. All right.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.